Start leaning on God. Stop thinking that it's you and start leaning on God. I'm going to continue reading this. Let's go back. Verse 15 through 21. It's out of the Message Bible. It says, speaking to the people, he went on. Take care. Protect yourself against the least bit of greed. The least bit of greed. How many ever feel like you need more? It says life is not defined by what you have, even when you have a lot. It says, then he told me this story. The farm of a certain rich man produced a terrific crop. He talked to himself, what can I do? My barn isn't big enough for this harvest. Then he said, here's what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. I'll tear down my barns and I'll build bigger ones. It says, then I'll gather all the grain and goods and I'll say to myself, self, you've done well. Where does he think that he gets his everything from? You've got it made and can now retire. Take it easy and have the time of your life. Just then God showed up and said, fool, tonight you die. And your barnfuls of goods, who gets it? He said that's what happens when you fill your barns with self and not with God. When you fill yourself with self and not with God. What are we looking to gain every day? Are we looking to gain self or are we looking to gain God? I want to gain more of Him. I don't care if I never get anything else of this flesh again, as long as I'm continuing to gain more of Him. I want more and more and more and more. Stop worrying about what you have or you don't have and just enjoy what God has called you to do. Your mission is to serve God and preach the gospel. Your mission is to serve God and preach the gospel. And let me tell you something. You may say, well, that sounds miserable, Pastor. Let me tell you, it's the greatest blessing you'll ever receive. Will it be hard? Yes, it will. If it ain't hard, you're probably doing something wrong. If someone tells you it ain't hard, they're probably lying. Yes, it's hard. But the hard and the pain and the troubles are nothing compared to the blessings that you receive while doing it. And I'm not talking about financial or physical or anything else. I'm talking about a blessing inside that you can't get from anywhere else. That you can't get from anything else. It all comes from God. You know, joy comes from within. Joy comes from Him. Nothing else from Him alone. And if you want that joy, you continue to do what God's called you to do. Well, I thought money would make me happy. Well, it might for a little bit. But let me tell you, when you lay your head down at night, you're alone, you're miserable. You're full of destruction, full of lies. And if you don't have God, you're full of the devil. And how could you be at peace? Not having the assurance of knowing that you'll have eternal life with Jesus Christ in heaven one day. That's what gives me peace. When I lay down my head and I know that if I don't wake back up the next day, I'm going to be in a better place. I'm going to be somewhere greater. Pastor Craig, if you go and put up that website. But John 1:3, it says, all things were made through Him. And without Him, nothing was made that was made. All things have been made through Him. Everything that you have, every ability that you have. Man, maybe you think, well, I'm the best at this. Well, who made you the best? You say, well, it was a lot of hard work. Well, who gave you that ability to do that? Who gave you that ability to move forward? All right, you've got to show my results. All right, so right here, I want to tell you, you are the most blessed. Let's say I'm going to go through this here. Let's say you make minimum wage, right? Minimum wage in Missouri is what, $7.70, I believe, depending on what county you're in. But let's say you make minimum wage. That's about $15,000 a year. So he's put $15,000 a year. Did you click show my results? All right. So right here, this is in the world. Can you guys see this? The first 7 people there, it shows that are richer than you. That you're in the top, almost over the top 8% of people, richest people in the world when you make minimum wage. Minimum wage. You're in the top 8% of people in the world. If you would take someone, let's go down to the next part here. Keep going down. Keep scrolling. All right, keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Right here. It says, you earn $15,000 in 1 year. If you would take the average laborer in Ghana, it would take them 93 years to earn the same amount of money. 93 years to earn the same amount of money that we complain about in America. That we complain about and say, we're poor. If you think about them over there, when they say, we're poor, or if they came over and saw your poor lifestyle, they would say, you're rich. You're blessed. You're in the top 8% of people in the world. It says, now maybe you say, well, that's still not that much. I can barely afford to buy a soda. Well, let's look at this. Keep scrolling. It says, thirsty, it'll only take you 4 minutes to earn it. This is on minimum wage. 4 minutes to earn enough for a refreshing can of soda. It says, if the average laborer in Indonesia fancies one, they'll have to work for around 2 hours for it. Now in Ghana, where we talked about earlier, it pulled up earlier for me, it says that if they would have tried to afford a soda, it would take an entire day to afford a can of soda. An entire day. Let's keep going. Your monthly income could pay the monthly salaries, keep scrolling, of 65 doctors in Azerbaijan. Changed it from what mine was last time. But 65 doctors, your monthly income could pay their monthly salaries for a doctor over there. And we complain. And we complain. And we complain. Let's go back to the top. If you could put in there about $32,000 a year. Let's say you make a little bit more money. You're making $32,000 a year. You're in the top 1% of the richest people in the world. Making $32,000 a year. That brings you to being, like I said, in the top 1% of the world. And it would take someone else 200 years to make that amount. Scroll down. Keep scrolling. Right there. 200 years to make the same amount. Could you imagine?